Netflix. So just what should this company do? Should they get bought out by Microsoft? Should they buy someone? Jim, there's been a little bit of a debate, a friendly debate amongst you and some other people here at the Street.
Rocco Pendola, and a lot of this is playing out on Twitter at Jim Cramer. Here's the issue, okay? I think Microsoft has lost its edge. I don't think anyone disagrees with that, but they have not lost their cash and not lost their balance sheet. So how do you get reinvigorated if you're Microsoft? What you do is you do an acquisition. They bought Skype, and Skype didn't really have any revenues. Well, here's a company, they buy Netflix, they got revenues, they got brand recognition, they're on the clicker. Being on the clicker of new TVs matters tremendously. There's production costs that would be absorbed very easily by Microsoft. They know how to do video games, for heaven's sake.
Right.
Most importantly, 27 million people. 27 million people who are different from the Xbox gamers. They could own the living room, Deb. You want to own the living room.
And I think that's a really good point, because a lot of people, when they think of Mr. Softy, they just think of Windows.
Right.
And they never think beyond that. And as you mentioned, Xbox is huge.
Skype, they're starting to monetize Skype. They've got some good people running Skype. But Deb, this is about making it so you're relevant. Younger people binge view in order to get into these videos. Now, these
Walking Dead, Mad Men.
Now, there's a trend, a secular trend that's going from Netflix, which is that the cable shows recognize you can make a lot of money doing serial shows. Now, before this, on network, you'd have 24 was a serial show, and people bought the box set. But most of the money has been made with a CSI. In other words, they're not run all at once. You can NCI. You run them. 10. They're all independent from each. But what we're now seeing with Walking Dead, and we're seeing with some of these other series, is that people really get engaged in huge numbers now with these, what would normally be box set names. And the reason why you need Netflix is because when everyone's talking about Walking Dead, you got to start somewhere. And you got to binge and start on season 1, and Netflix has that. So Netflix the balance of power has shifted to needing Netflix for these studios. But here's what Netflix has been doing that Rocco is right, but he'll be wrong on. Netflix pays a fortune to have these rights.
That's right.
And one of the reasons why they pay a fortune is people just say, is that Netflix hasn't had the balance. They're willing to fight with Netflix. The Time Warners of the world, Disney's, they're willing to play hardball. Right. You can't play hardball with Microsoft. Microsoft's got more money than anybody. Okay.
Yeah, Netflix doesn't have the deep pockets.
So Microsoft can say, listen, you need us more than you did. All right, so we're not going to stay, we're going to do new deals. Meanwhile, Netflix, whatever Rocco's worried about off balance sheet, right? Listen, Microsoft can refinance everything.
Well, can Netflix, you would almost say, why won't they go out and buy AMC? Because they're already making their own original content. Why not own the original content? But AMC is on fire right now. They can't buy them.
They get everything they need from AMC, and Netflix has done some original programming. I think Netflix should be for sale. I think the world of Reed Hastings. He's terrific. Another problem that I have with Rocco's piece is he said that Hastings screws up, doesn't really apologize. I mean, that when he split the company into two, he immediately came back.
Disastrous.
I think Hastings
he did apologize.
I think Hastings is brilliant, and I think that Hastings, if Microsoft bought them, Hastings could run Microsoft. Now I know that that's not what Ballmer wants to hear, but I just think Hastings is a visionary. Microsoft needs a visionary at the helm. By the way, before this, I said that Apple should buy Netflix. Both of them should buy it because Netflix is social and it's mobile, and you need those.
And you need content, and that's where this is going. These guys have got to move beyond the box, think outside the box, and have the content in the box.
Right, and meanwhile, look, Netflix was up 100% in the first quarter. The stocks that came up that are up the most in the first quarter are all getting hit here. People want to take profits, but and I don't blame them because it's a choppy market. But I really feel very strongly that if Microsoft wanted to get its groove back, they should buy Netflix, and it's not nearly as expensive as Rocco Pendola thinks.
All right, there you go, Microsoft. Now you've got your marching orders from Jim Cramer. Take a look at Netflix so you can start to think outside the box and get into that content.